a true story of a God's child named Rattan. And this story is about an ultimate God-rich act which Rattan's parents performed. This incident took place around 3 years back when my mother was alive, and this incident took place in front of my eyes when my mother was in a life and death situation. She was struggling with her terrible diseases and she was in the hospital. Since my mother was very ill, she was admitted in a high dependency unit in the hospital, and right to her bed was a very small kid of age 7 years who was struggling from a very fatal disease called cancer. He was terminally ill, and his cancer stage had reached the second stage, and it was very heart-rending to watch the parents of those kids right in front of you go through the pain and misery which their son was going. And since I used to be in the hospital right beside my mother, I used to see the misery of that child on a consistent basis, and I used to see how the child's parents were coping up with this tragedy which their son was going through. Ultimately, the God's child Rattan succumbed to his cancer and he died. It was very unfortunate for me to witness that child's death and to witness the trauma which his parents had gone through. I mean, it was, for me to see my mother in any ill condition, though my mother was very ill, she also had multiple problems. I could not imagine what would have gone through that small child's parents when that child was struggling through cancer and when that child died. Now, after the child died, his parents did an act which to me was nothing more than the ultimate God richness act. And that was that they donated their child's organs after his death. Just imagine, your 7-year-old child is gone. The mother and father donate their child's organs so that some other human being who is in need, can survive. For me, this act was an ultimate God-rich act. So the young child Rattan, his parents demonstrated God-rich act of care, of compassion, of sacrifice, of kindness towards humanity. They gave away their young child's organs so that any other human being, irrespective of religion, can benefit from it. I think it was a very noble God-rich act demonstrated by that God's child's parents. And if I look back at my richness model, where we have people who want to be rich and people who demonstrate God richness, Rattan's parents come at the highest level, because the act performed by them is a very tough act. It needs a purity of heart. Your child who has succumbed to cancer, who has died, a 7-year-old kid, to donate your child's organs for a noble cause, it really requires sacrifice, it really requires purity of heart, and that is nothing less than the highest form of God richness. It's been 3 years since that incident happened right in front of me. As I said, there is a lot of bad happening in the world, but there is good also happening in the world. Look around for more true God-rich stories.